Come on, let's be positive. Just stop right there. No negativity. Let's be positive. LBP, let's be positive.
Let's be positive. This is what this particular piece of the program is called. Let's be positive. And when you're about to hear this story, this is why we got to be positive all the time. Matt Gunn, LBP, TMG. And mate, I'll let you tell the story, but you sent me a text last week after yakking to you, and it was just one of those ones where you read it, you stop, and you go, oh my God, shite. Okay, well, what do we do? You finish it.
Yeah, well, last Monday, Martin, everything was going pretty good. Had a great chat with you. We'd had a win from the Doggies over the West Tigers, and then, finished the day's work, came home, sat down, had dinner. It was about 8 o'clock. Went to get up to grab a drink. I couldn't walk. And turns out I'd had a stroke, Martin.
Wow.
And, 50 on March 12 and, March 22, here I am, almost turning 65, I reckon, the way I feel at the moment. But, I didn't know. I just got up, had a bit of a dead leg, a bit of a wobbly leg, and went to bed thinking I'd be all right in the morning. Got up on Tuesday morning and, well, by Tuesday lunchtime sort of thing, I was into the hospital and having all the scans and all the tests and all that sort of thing, and the MRI, which I sent you a photo of, shows a blood clot right there in the middle of the old scon, right in the middle of the brain. Proved I had a brain, but, about the size of one of your fingernails, I suppose. So, Marty, you never know what's coming, mate. You never know what's around the corner, and I suppose I'm pretty lucky. I can still speak. I'm a little bit slow on occasions. I certainly can't walk properly. I've got left side, not paralysis, but definitely numbness and walking on a stick. So, you're going well 1 minute, next minute things aren't going as good. And I suppose you think about all the good things in your life, and lucky I've got a great wife and daughter that have helped me out, and I had a lot of support from you and other friends who are sort of checking in on me and just seeing how I'm getting on. So, I don't know how long I'll be this way. Can't drive for a month, can't work at the moment.
Yeah.
Just sort of a bit lost and stuck, and every now and again I'm feeling good, and then it kind of hits you. Jesus, I've just had a stroke.
Yeah.
I thought that happened to old people.
Same.
I'll tell you the thing that took me back mostly is I thought it would hurt. I thought I seen a bloke have a heart attack once, and that looks just terribly painful. And but I wouldn't have known, and I didn't have any idea anything had gone wrong until I actually tried to get up and walk. And even at the time, I wasn't thinking any major brain damage had occurred to the old boy, but that's life, isn't it? You just never know what's around the corner, and a pretty eye-opening week for me. So just coming up 1 week, and I tell you what, it feels like about 5 weeks, to be fair.
So, do you start doing all the research now? How the hell do these things happen, mate? Do they just come out of random? I suppose they say, it's this, or it's lifestyle, it's over this period of time, or it's this and that. But as you say, they just whack you, and you don't know it's coming.
Yeah, about 28 years ago, I ended up in hospital on a previous occasion, and it turns out I had diabetes. And, diabetes you end up with, regardless of your lifestyle. I mean, I try and look after myself, and I've been on medication and that, but you can end up with high blood pressure, and you can end up with cholesterol. And these are two of the big risk factors for a stroke. Now, mine haven't been too bad, but, the root cause is the diabetes. But why it happened, last week, no one knows where the clot came from. They haven't been able to tell me. They do all the MRIs and the CT scans and, heart exams and, ultrasounds and all your arteries, and, nothing obvious is there. But as you could see by the MRI, there's just a big clot right in the middle of my brain. If it had been the other side, they tell me I wouldn't have been able to talk. It probably would have been full paralysis and facial and speech injuries. So in that sense, I'm lucky. I don't feel, like anything other than just got to get on with it. And my major concern is that, at the moment, I got about 20 minutes in me of going for a walk or something, and then I got to lay down and have a sleep. So just focusing on, reading as much as I can as you do in these situations, trying to work out the best way to go forward, and just try and be a little bit active, but also be realistic about, what's happened to me, because, I feel like I should be fine. But as the doctors have said to me, it is a major brain injury, and as much as you might even recover physically soon, we just don't know, how you're going to be with your mental stamina sort of thing. Like, I find it hard to type, and I've got no dexterity and in my left side. In many ways, I feel like when you see a baby starting to reach out and grab a cup or start to walk, they're wobbly, and the arm won't go straight where you want it to be. So, yeah, I tell you what, it's a real eye opener about the things that are important in your life, and how you go forward. So I'm on a bit of a strict diet, and no booze, and nothing stupid, and so that's it, mate. Just trying to be positive. But sometimes I just get hit with this anxiety, which they say is a result of it too, where you just feel this impending doom. But that sort of passes pretty quick, and then you pick yourself up and keep going again. So one day at a time, I suppose, and not trying to be a hero, but also trying to keep myself in some way at least stimulated and entertained. That's going to be the big one. And being stuck at home, like I don't mind being stuck at home. I like it at home, but the idea I can't go anywhere without someone taking me, that's that loss of independence in some ways too.
Well, I mean, the last thing you needed then was an absolute, heartbreaker of a 16-4 loss with your doggies against our Warriors, mate. I mean, I would have thought just as, maybe as a little but then again, the Warriors are your second favourite team, so perhaps it didn't hurt as much.
Well, it doesn't hurt as much. It was good to see the Warriors, in that position, 18,000 people in the crowd. I mean, it was an enjoyable game. It was very tight. There's nothing in it statistically, but the difference really was SJ, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And, he's copped a fair bit over the last few years, and he was even copping it when he left the Warriors. But, you'd have to say for the 32-year-old player that's been in the game quite a while, what he did yesterday was control it.
Yep.
We just didn't know how to handle it. It was a bit of a classic old-school Johnson try right under the posts, but it was more than that, because he had the defence in two minds whenever you were on attack. They seemed to have a very good sort of cross-running attack game yesterday, and they had options, and they slowed us down in the play the ball, which is where we're very strong. We showed that in the first 10 or 15 minutes. If we get up and play the ball quickly, we're very hard to stop up the middle with a great forward pack. But the Warriors did that. They defended tremendously, and, they seem to be a club that's it's definitely getting much better. The Bulldogs are too, but the Warriors, they just wanted it a bit more yesterday.
Yeah, look, mate, it's all about, you've got to score more points than the opposition. I know that everyone's going to say, yeah, great. Well, thanks for telling us that. But you've also got to keep the opposition from scoring. And it's an average, I think, just under 15 per game after 4 games. Now, somebody will know when the stats were that the Warriors were actually, defending like this. But that game, I thought, was exactly the same as parts of that North Q game, parts of the Roosters game. Last year's team would have given up. Last year's team, after the Fox scored that try, would have shipped another 20 or 30 points quickly. And this team didn't. And then Tohu goes off, and another reason for the heads to go down. But somebody steps off the bench. Something has happened in that club, and you've got to... Look, we all hack the coach, Matt. We're all happy to kick the coach, aren't we, when it doesn't go well? So this time when it is going well, you've got to praise that boy. And Andrew Webster has brought something to the club.
Yeah, the game plan. The game plan was spot on, I thought. Not maybe in the first 15, but like I say, the biggest win for the Warriors is they didn't make many mistakes. They attacked the line and they made plenty of line breaks, but they stopped the Bulldogs where they needed to be stopped. And maybe that was one of the issues they've had in the last few seasons, is that the way that they approached each different opposition may not have been where it should be. But yesterday it was very frustrating. And so you only got to play the ball up slightly against a team like the Dogs, and they did that, I suppose you've got to push the line a little bit in terms of not being penalised, which they weren't overly penalised for it. They were probably right on the mark there of being pretty close to it. But I think they won the game there because we just lost that momentum from dummy half, which is where we look good this year. So, when we can get out of dummy half and move it and hit the wings and hit the Fox, you've seen him when he took that pass and gassed it up the sideline. It's very hard to stop. But the Warriors, mate, you could just see the crowd. They just absolutely loved it, and it's an awesome crowd that's up there. It's a great place to be. I look forward to getting up there to a game at some point. And, I heard the stat yesterday, the last time they started a season this well, the last 3 times they've made playoffs every year with a 3-1 start. So I think that augurs pretty well for the Warriors.